Barca demolished Liverpool in a cracker of a game in Champions League semi-finals first leg 3-0. Is there any glimmer of hope for Liverpool in the second leg? How costly could Salah's miss cost Liverpool? How does Ronaldo's remainder of the season look? Are Ajax the dark horses Barca should fear if they meet in the Champions League final? Find out next. MCTV Sports 101 starts now. Hey there, MCTV Sports 101 viewers. I'm Aditya Sahasrabudhe.
And I'm Austin Seat. Liverpool lost against a tough Barca side by 3-0 in the first leg of the UCL semifinal. Is there any chance Liverpool can make a comeback at Anfield? Moreover, what went wrong for the Reds? AD?
Let me tell you something. It doesn't matter how deep the ocean is. What matters is the motion of the ocean.
I will agree with you on that one.
Barcelona won 3-0 against Liverpool.
Yes.
No one was expecting it.
Nope.
Liverpool played a great game till the 75th minute. But somehow, with one magician, Barcelona could beat Liverpool not just 1-0, not just 2-0, but by 3-0. And it was impressive. But yes, Liverpool being the side that Liverpool is, with their home support, because the second leg is going to be in Anfield,
Right.
with their most loyal fan base in the world, and with the trio in the likes of Salah, Mane, and Firmino, they can do the impossible. What do you think?
I'm going to have to completely disagree with you, my friend. Because
Okay.
here's why I say Barcelona won 3-0 to Liverpool. Liverpool has faced Barcelona in the Champions League 4 different times in the past, I'd say 10 or so years. In those 4 times, they have only won 1 game against Barcelona. Now, beat it, they have tied a game against Barcelona. But it's hard to beat it's really hard to beat Barcelona, especially with Messi scoring that 600th career club goal and had 2 in that game. So it's going to be very hard, and I don't think they can pull it off.
Well, Austin, my dear friend, you like stats, and I know it. So let me throw one very exciting stat at you.
Ooh, I can't wait.
In the Champions League semi-final in 2005-2006, in the final of the Champions League, Liverpool were 3-0 down in the final by the halftime against AC Milan. They only had 45 minutes to turn the tide, and they did go to win that Champions League final. So technically, they scored 3 goals in 45 minutes. And you are saying that they can do it in 90-minute span? I won't be saying you're out of your mind. I mean, I know after losing 3-0 against Barcelona, it's almost like climbing the Everest to defeat them.
Yeah.
But it's not impossible, my friend.
You're facing a giant, my friend, and you're facing a giant with a king on top of his head, because it is very hard to get past that magician.
That's absolutely right. I do agree with you. But if I'm a Liverpool supporter, I would be saying that yes, they can do the impossible.
Well, we will have to see, my friend, but I don't think they can do it.
Tottenham's 1-0 loss against Ajax made them the underdogs for the second leg. Do they have what it takes to win against the young counter-attacking side in Ajax? Austin, what's your take?
Well, my friend, this one is a difficult decision for me because Young did not play in the first leg.
Okay.
So, beat it. They did still play good defensively. They kept Ajax to 10.
Well, if you forgot about something, in the last podcast, you called Ajax the poultry side.
Yes,
didn't you?
yes.
And you're not even expecting them to win.
Yes. Well, to be fair, you thought Juventus was going to beat Ajax as well, and they certainly have surprised. I'm sure both of us, and along with many other fans.
That's absolutely right. I did say that Juventus was going to win, but I never underestimated what Ajax was.
Right.
I never called Ajax a poultry side, which you did.
Okay. I mean,
Okay, so back to the
they're
question.
a very young team, so you can understand why I called them poultry. But back to the question at hand. So Ajax had 10 shots total, 2 on goal. Tottenham had 12 shots, a little bit more, 12 shots with 1 on goal. Both goalies made great saves. Ajax could have easily have been up 2-0, but their goalie made a great save. Now, for me, I'm on the fence with this one because Young did not play this first game, and if he's on the court, if he was on the field, I would have said Tottenham all the way. Tottenham would come back easily, and we may have had a different result in the first leg. But because he is out, and we don't know his condition or if he will be in for the second leg, it's hard. It's hard for me to pick Tottenham if they
over
can
Ajax.
Yeah, over Ajax. It really is.
Well, Tottenham is a team which everyone loves. And it's great to be a team that everyone adores and loves. But the thing is, if I have to ask you a question, what has Tottenham won in the last few years? Nothing.
No.
There's a difference between being a fighter and being a warrior. And Tottenham is that fighter, is that team that only fights to live. But a warrior team on the other side, like Ajax, lives to fight. And I don't think Tottenham is a team that lives to fight. So Tottenham are, I mean, it is, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's highly improbable and maybe next to impossible for Tottenham to register a win against Ajax.
Well, and let me tell you this: like I'm rooting. I do think Tottenham can come back and win this. It's just hard for me to put my money where my mouth is, so to speak, if Young is not in that lineup for the second leg of the fixture.
Well, I say it doesn't matter whether Young is going to feature in the second fixture or not, because Harry Kane is not there.
No.
Young was not there in the first leg.
No.
And even if he's there in the second leg, it's not going to matter, because Ajax is a side which has nothing to lose. They have their focus for the finals of the Champions League, so it's going to be a Herculean task for Tottenham to overcome what they have next.
Well, this one is surely going to be a good game, along with the Barcelona-Liverpool game.
Absolutely,
so.
Let's find out.
Yes. Ronaldo became the first man to win EPL, La Liga, and Serie A. However, after being knocked out of the Champions League, what else is left for Ronaldo this season? Is Messi going to go ahead and win the Ballon d'Or race?
Ballon d'Or.
Ballon d'Or, okay. There are so many terms I have yet to decide.
Poor Ronaldo. I mean, it was a great transfer. He transferred to Juventus for $100 million from Real Madrid, probably the best club in the world. So obviously, I mean, it was a great transfer, but it did not turn out the way it was supposed to. Ideally, he was supposed to win the Champions League for Juventus, but he couldn't do it. And it's perfectly fine. I mean, he's a human. You can't win Champions League every season. But if we just talk about Ronaldo and not Juventus for this particular moment, I would say that this season for Ronaldo was a massive failure. The reason is, I mean, I know that he went to a different country, he joined a new club. It's a completely different scheme of settings. And it's commendable what he has done. He has scored 20 goals. In Italian league, he is in the top 3 in the top scorers for the Italian league, so that's great. But we are talking about Ronaldo. We are not talking about any average player. He needs to be scoring maximum goals because he is Ronaldo. He's one of the top 2 players in the world. So you expect him to score those many goals. But he could not win the Champions League. Right now, he is not even the top scorer in the Italian league. He has scored 20 goals, 20 massive goals in his first season for Juventus. But he's not the top scorer. And being where Ronaldo is, being what Ronaldo is, he needs to be at the very top. So it has been a massive failure for Ronaldo. And it has put Ronaldo a lot behind Messi in the Ballon d'Or race. The reason is Messi had scored 50th goal this season. Both of them scored 600 goals. But for this season, Messi has scored 50 goals. And Ronaldo has only scored 26, 27 goals. Moreover, Ronaldo is not playing in the Champions League anymore. And Barca is practically, I mean, in the UCL final. So it's going to be a major disadvantage for Ronaldo in the Ballon d'Or race. If he needs to get back in the race, he needs to score at least twice the amount of goals at the start of the 2018-2019 season. What's your take?
Well, first off, you don't know how bad I want to just backhand you right now for saying
go ahead.
Ronaldo.
Now it's your turn. Go ahead.
This season is a failure for Ronaldo. I mean, come on. I mean, you talk about a guy who goes to a completely different league, scores 20 goals, was the top scorer for the longest, like top goal scorer for the longest time in that league, and still has a chance to become the top scorer in that league. He's only down 2 goals.
That's right.
He still has plenty of time to get the top
My friend,
score.
he only has 2 more games to go. He doesn't have plenty of time. The season is practically over. So what he has is just 2 more games.
Well, I do agree with that. I think he can score 2 goals in 2 more games. I mean, it's Ronaldo.
I mean, I'm hoping for the same thing. But even if he scores those 2 games, those 2 goals, or maybe 2+ goals in the last 2 games, is it going to be a success for Ronaldo? He's Ronaldo, man. You don't expect Ronaldo to just score 22 goals. His overall tally for the entire season is 26 or 27. And look at Messi. He's doing just what he has been doing in the past, scoring 50 goals in the season. So from the standards of Ronaldo, it's been a failure. From the standpoint of an average player, it's been a great season.
See, I completely disagree with you on this one.
It's absolutely fine to
because
have the difference
he's
of
in
opinion.
a completely different league. He's not with the same team he was a year ago. Messi has been with the same team for pretty much his entire career. So he's got those friendships. He's got those connections. Ronaldo had to improvise, adapt, and overcome the fact of being in a new league, new country, new team, new teammates. And the fact that he's 2 goals off first place as the top scorer. I mean, yes, he didn't make Champions League, which is what they brought him on to do. So, beat it. Complete failure for Juventus. But for him, I don't see it being as a failure. I see it as somewhat as a success, because it's hard to go to another league, another country, another team, and do what he's done. Now, I will say, I think he's probably out of the race for the
Ballon d'Or?
Exactly. I think he's out of that race, because in 2 games there's no way he could catch
Messi's tally?
Exactly, unless he does something great the next season. But I don't think it's a failure for this season. I think it's a success.
We are all entitled to have our opinions, and there's nothing wrong about it. But I still say, from the standpoint of Ronaldo, it was a failure.
I say it's a success, and I'm really tempted to just backhand you in the face right now.
Moving forward, after a splendid fighting display in the first leg, Ajax practically have 1 foot in the UCL finals. Should they worry about the finals against Barca or focus on the game in hand? What's your take?
Well, first off, I would like to retract my previous statement saying Ajax was paltry. They are clearly not. They have proved me wrong. They've beaten Juventus with Ronaldo.
That's really very kind of you, and all of our audiences are going to appreciate it.
Yeah, and I won't get kicked out like last time, like you wanted to do last time.
Now, not anymore.
Not anymore. And they're 1 up against Tottenham in the first leg of the semifinal. But should they focus on Barcelona? I don't think they can, because yes, they are young. They are a great counter-striking team. But the problem is when you start getting cocky, you start getting like, hey, this team is below us. We need to focus on the big dog. We need to focus on the Champions League finals. You run the risk of just getting knocked out on the right cheek, completely blindsided, and they could end up losing the second leg altogether and not making it to the finals. So I think they need to take this 1 game at a time, focus on Tottenham, finish off Tottenham, then focus on Barcelona. That's my take. How about you?
You've got some excellent points, and I'm not going to argue, because whatever you said is absolutely right. But there's one thing which you missed. There's a slight difference between being overconfident and being confident. With the kind of side Ajax is, they are young, they are counter-attacking, and they know how to win games, the most important thing, because they have done it against Real Madrid and against Juventus, and obviously in the first leg against Tottenham.
So far doing it against Tottenham as of this point.
That is exactly
still another
right.
leg to go.
So the most important thing is obviously 1 thing at a time, 1 step at a time. Focus on what you have in your hand. However, they also need to keep Barcelona at the back of their mind, because they know Barcelona is going to be the team that they're going to face in the finals. So I'm still going to say that obviously they have to focus on Tottenham, because they have not gone to the finals yet. But they need to keep Barcelona at the back of their mind, just to make sure how they strategize, how they come up with a strategy for the finals against the mighty Barcelona.
I do agree with you on this, but what I'm saying here is they're only up by 1 point. So it's still very close. If they were up 3-0 like Barcelona against Liverpool, we'd be having a completely different discussion
But
altogether.
one thing which you missed is it's going to be Ajax's home and not Tottenham's home. So Ajax have the away goal advantage as well. So that is something which they need to capitalize on. And I'm not saying that they should take Tottenham lightly, because just a matter of second, it can be a set piece, it can be a corner, or it can be any kind of instance where Tottenham can easily score. So obviously they need to be wary of what Tottenham is and what they can do. But they also need to focus on what Barcelona brings to the table and what they are against in the finals.
I mean, as we both know, Tottenham can easily get the ball towards the goal. Now, be it they didn't have that many shots on goal. I think only had like 1 shot, but they did have 1 shot on target, but they did have 12 shots. Towards the goal area, but not on target. So they obviously can get it down there. It's just a question on whether they can connect or not. So, and that's what, and I still think because it's so close, Ajax can't can't put their focus on Barcelona completely just yet. They still need to focus on Tottenham and winning the semifinal leg.
Cool.
The little magician scores his 600th club goal after Ronaldo achieved the same feat last week. How vital is he for Barcelona's plans to bring home the UCL?
You know what? It amazes me to look at these two players. I mean, we have never witnessed such a duopoly in any sport.
No.
Ronaldo achieved that feat of scoring 600 club goals the other week. And Messi did the same thing this week.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that crazy? 600 goals just for the club. We're not including country goals here.
No.
600 friggin' goals just for the club.
Yeah, we don't want to include the national stats in this. We don't have that time for it. So
it's just it completely blows my mind. And we as soccer fans are really fortunate enough to be living in this era because we don't have one best player in the world. We have two. I mean, some of the players are going to say that, no, it's not right. Or maybe some of the fans are going to shoot at me and they are going to say that, okay, I pick Messi, I pick Ronaldo. But I say we are having that privilege to be alive in the era of Ronaldo and Messi, the best players in the entire world.
Oh, yes, 100%.
But if you ask me how vital is...
Back to the question, my friend.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm going to answer the question. How vital is Messi for Barcelona's plans to take UCL home? Well, the most important thing between Barcelona and Juventus is that Barcelona is a team effort. For example, if you look at last game, Suarez scored an exceptional goal. Ter Stegen was amazing in the goal line. So it's a completely team effort. While for Juventus, out of the 7 Champions League goals that Juventus scored in the knockout round, how many did Ronaldo score? 6.
Yeah.
So it's a one-man show for Juventus, which is not the case for Barcelona, which is absolutely good because soccer is a team sport. I mean, you can have some crazy and incredible individual moments just like we witnessed yesterday in Messi's free kick.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the game, it's a team effort. And Barcelona has that privilege to have not just one great player, but to have a great team. So obviously Messi is going to be vital to win the Champions League, but it's going to be more of a team effort than just a solo Messi effort. What's your take? I'm damn sure it's going to be different, but let's hear what your take is.
Probably. You hope we better not have to curse that, blur out that curse word you just said. But for me, what it is, I'm going to be completely opposite of you. I think it's more of a one-man show with Messi on the team because when you hear the words Barcelona, what is the first thing that pops into your mind?
Absolutely Messi.
Exactly. The little magician with 600 goals.
But the thing is, it's not just Messi. It's Coutinho, it's Dembele, it's Piqué, and the list goes on and on.
Well, I will agree with you that, but here's the one thing that I say. At the beginning, here's the one thing I want to point out to you. At the beginning of the season, before training camp and all that, Messi told the fans, coaches, and players, we will bring home the Champions League trophy to Barcelona for this season. And obviously, his word, him saying that has impacted the team a lot because they're behind his back.
Not just the team, but the fans as well.
Exactly. And another point I'd like to make out of this, I think it was 2016 or 17. LeBron James goes back to Cleveland, and he tells the fans and everyone there that says, I will bring the NBA Finals trophy to Cleveland. And he does. And Messi obviously has that same charisma, that same style. Exactly. That's what leaders do. That's what great players do. So I think it's sort of a one-man show because obviously he scored two goals in that game. He's obviously the top scorer in the La Liga.
That's so right. 34 goals.
Exactly. So I think it's a one-man show when it comes to Messi and Barcelona.
Cool.
So, well, now it's time for Who You Got. With the soccer season coming to an end, almost every remaining fixture is a thriller. Juventus plays Torino this Friday. AD, who you got?
It's going to be Juventus. They have won the Serie A for the 8th consecutive time. But it's going to be Juventus because Ronaldo has that target at his back. He knows that he wants to be the top goal scorer in Serie A. So he is going to score goals and Juventus is going to win.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, first off, I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one messing up names and words up here. So, but yeah, I do agree with you. I think it's going to be Juventus, obviously winning. Obviously, Ronaldo wants that top goal scorer for Serie A. He wants this season to be more of a success than what it is. And I think that Juventus is going to come out on top in this fight.
Cool. So at least we both agree on this one.
Oh yes, for once.
Newcastle plays Liverpool this Saturday. Austin, who you got?
I got Liverpool. I got
Ooh.
Liverpool in this.
Ooh, and why do you think so?
Liverpool, obviously, they got 2 games left in the
Premier League?
In the Premier League. They do have their hands full with Barcelona, but I think they're going to still focus on Premier League because they're still only, I think, 1 or 2 points behind Man City in the Premier League. Yes, there are 2 games left, so really neither them or Man City can come down at this point.
I actually don't get your point. Why do you keep on saying Liverpool is only going to focus on the Premier League? I mean, how could you do it? I'm not going to fight you anymore.
I was about to say, why do you keep going back to this?
I'm not going to fight you anymore.
Why do you keep going back to this?
I mean, I know you're not going to learn, so I'm not going to reiterate my words.
Well,
but it's okay. It's okay. It's completely fine. It's your opinion. So you say Liverpool is going to focus more on the Premier League and not on the Champions League, which is perfectly fine. No more argument. Okay, back to the question. So my pick is going to be that they are going to drop points.
Oh.
And the reason is because they just got humbled by Barcelona by 3-0.
Humbled is not the word I would have used for it, but...
And it was abysmal. They played great. It was an exceptional game. Liverpool were a great team. And it's not like they deserve to lose by 3-0. So it is going to affect their morale, and that's the reason why they're going to drop points.
I guess we'll have to find out on this one. Next week, Monday, it's City versus Leicester.
Leicester City. It's okay. It's okay, Austin. It's okay.
We were so good with the names, and then you had to bring this one up. We were so great.
Okay.
Who you got?
I say it's going to be a draw, and City are going to drop points as well.
Oh.
The reason is it's going to be Leicester's home. And Leicester has been a tough opponent for every team in the Premier League. And that's the reason why City are going to drop points.
As we can tell with my Arsenal team last week.
That is right. What about you? What's your pick?
I'm going to say Man City on this one.
Cool.
And the reason for that is because they can't. It's the same with Liverpool. They can't. They're at the top spot right now, and they can't afford to either draw or lose a game because if Liverpool does better, obviously Liverpool gets back on top. So I think Man City is going to focus these next 2 games and not lose that top spot.
Cool. So what about the Champions League finalists, Austin?
Well, we have Liverpool, we have Barcelona, we have Ajax, and we have
Tottenham.
Exactly. My 2 finalists are going to be, for the Champions League, they are going to be Tottenham and Barcelona.
Cool. And
So-
okay, no more
Barcelona.
questions.
Well, Barcelona is obvious reasons. Tottenham. It's really hard for me to not pick. For me to pick Tottenham because of what they're in. They've obviously lost Harry Kane, who's obviously one of their better strikers. We don't know the fate of Young, who is another great striker of theirs. So it's hard for me, but I do think that they're going to. I think Young will be fine, and I think they'll come out on top against Ajax.
Cool. I'm going to say it's going to be Ajax and Barcelona. Ajax, just because of obvious reasons, it's going to be their home fixture in the second leg. They have the away goal advantage, and they are a side that is destined to win everything, win it all. So it's going to be obviously Ajax and Barcelona because they have the magician. They have one of the best players in the world in the likes of Lionel Messi. And although Liverpool is going to have the home advantage, but they are 3-0. I mean, they are down by 3 goals.
Right.
They have their loyal fan base. They have the great squad with the strikers. We all know it. But it's against Barcelona. And defeating Barcelona when you are down by 3-0 is probably an impossible task. So it's going to be Ajax and Barca for me.
Right. Now, for the Premier League, who do you think? Well, let me say this. For winners for both the Premier League and the Champions League, who do you think is going to win the Premier, and who do you think is going to win Champions?
Okay, so focusing on the Champions League right now because we just chalked out the finalists. It's going to be Barca. Although I did say that Ajax are destined to win it all, but it's going to be against the mighty Barcelona.
The Giants with the magician leading them
That's
into battle.
right. And just like you said, Messi promised everyone that he's going to win the Champions League for Barcelona.
Exactly.
And he is going to do it. So it's going to be Barcelona in the Champions League who are going to win it this season. About Premier League, I am really saddened to see Liverpool because they are going to lose out in the semi-finals of Champions League, and they are also not going to win the Premier League. So Liverpool fans, please do not hate me. And actually, they don't deserve to lose on both the tournaments.
No, I don't
At least they deserve to win some trophy, either the EPL or the Champions League. But it's not going to happen in the Champions League because it's against Barcelona. Well, what can happen in the Premier League is if City loses any points, then Liverpool have a great chance to overcome just by winning those remainder of the 2 games. So there is some kind of chance, but I still don't think that City is going to lose any points.
It's very slim to almost not.
That's right. So it's going to be Barca and City. What about you? You do not have your
For the second
picks.
time, we agree on something.
That's right. Okay.
I also believe it's going to be Barcelona. Obvious reasons, because Messi has told the fans we are bringing home we want to bring home the Champions League back to Barcelona. I think the last time they won it was in 2015,
15-16.
15-16. Now, I think if they do end up playing, I think they're going to play Tottenham. If they do play against Ajax, with the way they're playing right now, I think it's going to be a very close game. But Barcelona will come out on top because they are, as we have stated many times on this show, they are the giants of European soccer. For the Premier League, I also agree that it is going to be City, but mainly because they obviously both them or Liverpool wants to win the Premier League. But I think City, with them being on top, is going to say, no, we're going to stay on top. We're not letting Liverpool come for this spot, and we're going to win these next 2 games and win the Premier League.
Cool. So finally, for the last show that we have this semester, we agreed on something.
Yes.
And I'm really glad we did.
Yes.
No more fights.
Oh, yes. Well, and I'd also like to say, man, it's been fun doing this with you for this semester. So wherever you may go, have fun out there.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, that's our show for this semester's edition of MCTV Sports 101. I'm glad to host this amazing show with this talented young man, Austin Seat, and our special MCTV Sports cast. And I appreciate all of you for loving us so much. Till we meet again, I am Aditya Sahasrabudhe.
And I am Austin Seat, and we'll see you next time. Heads up. Oop! Yep. Close enough.
Till next time.